Good evening, everybody. Dr. Glow here with Black Girl Everything. I'm so excited to be back doing panels. We haven't done one since June, and we're going to start this conversation off with some amazing Black women who've joined me this Monday evening. Feel free to leave comments on the page. We can answer questions during this conversation, but we're excited to be back today. So I'm going to introduce the beautiful women who are joining me today for this conversation on Black women as the center of family and business. We're going to be talking about everything business, everything family, everything being Black, everything about being women, all in one conversation. So I'm going to start off with Rasheen. Talk about yourself.
Oh, wow. Hi, my name is Rasheen Rodgers. I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. I was born and raised in Mount Vernon. Went to all public schools, Mount Vernon High School, the whole thing. I purchased a home in Mount Vernon 5 years ago, and I have two daughters. I currently work full-time at a publishing agency, but I did start a side hustle 2020, actually during the pandemic. It's called Rodgers Events and Decor. It's a party rental business. And I kind of just felt like I wanted to start that because at that time, nobody knew what was going on. We didn't know what was going on, and everybody was scared, but everybody still wanted to be with their community, their families, and people, but we weren't sure what was happening. So I said people wanted to congregate outside, and people were like saying, "Oh, I want some tables, I want some chairs, I want this, that." So I was like, So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start a little business behind it because it seems like there was a need for it.
Yeah.
And I was proud of myself because I started it the right way. I made an LLC. I started my business. I opened a business bank account, and I just did tables and chairs in the beginning, some tablecloths, some things like that, and people really just gravitated to it. And people were like reaching out like crazy, and it kind of started progressing. And then I just added a little more things on, like throne chairs and couches and things of that nature. And then it kind of blossomed into, something that people wanted, and the community really like came out and supported me, and I was grateful. So that's kind of where it is now. I'm not, I have to be honest, I didn't kind of, life be life in, and I had to start like really my job started. We had to go back to work and started going in again, and more of my full time was there. I also have two daughters, so there's that, the family aspect of it all. So I still definitely do it, but it's kind of more of a like just side hustle. I have a lot of repeat customers that constantly always still call, which I'm grateful for. And but now my journey's kind of shifting a little bit, and I'm actually studying to be a holistic coach. Um, Reason being because my father passed away suddenly in 2023. He had a heart attack. And then I just noticed like recently, like I'm 51, but a lot of people around my age are like, unfortunately, not doing good health wise, or
Yeah.
they're dying. I mean, just to be completely honest. So I've been just struggling with that, like seeing that. And I just feel like I just again want to help my community and want to put myself out there. And I kind of been going down this rabbit hole of just studying health, eating more plant-based. Um, and, once you start looking at stuff on social media and stuff of that nature, your algorithm starts to give you all of these things. And I just started going deeper and deeper, and I started finding different people. And I came across someone, and he was giving a program to be a holistic coach. And I just jumped all in, and I said, why not? Let's do it. Cause I want to try to, help my community, help my family, to eat better and to do better.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for that thorough introduction of all about you. I have so many follow-up questions about that, but Jam, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jade Map. I go by Jam, and I kind of have not too different of an origin story, but I definitely started off working with herbal remedies as a form to heal thyself. I'm somebody who, like, I'm not a salesperson at heart. Like, I have to believe in what I'm putting in front of people in order to like push product. So I really started off with working with herbal medicine and those kind of formulas to help myself and my loved ones, because I come from a lineage of women who have struggled with uterine and womb health issues like fibroids and cysts, and some people have had cancer in my family and hysterectomies in my family. And,
Yeah.
when it boiled down to just me struggling with my own menstrual cycle and my other, womb health challenges, I was like, something's got to give, because I'm not 100% against big pharma, but I I'm not necessarily in agreement with my bad, everybody. You're gonna hear cat drama throughout this. I hope not. But speaking of that, I wanted to find ways to work with my body in a way that was accessible, because I wasn't really trusting in the doctors I was seeing.
Yeah.
I wasn't really, and not for nothing, didn't, I know it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but maybe not so much for Black women. I didn't really have the time to keep following up with different types of specialists and going to this appointment. And so I wanted to find ways to work in the meantime, right? Like, so I wasn't necessarily the end all be all, but as I was working, like making my own teas or topical things, I was sharing it with the women that I love. And they were like, okay, I think you have something here. And I was sharing it with my friends and other people in network. And they're like, yeah, you have something here. And then it started becoming like a passion project that had a business component. It wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
meant to be a business, because what I wanted to do was the earth work, which is to use what she's given us to give to the people and educate the people. So that's where the workshop components and like the wellness meetups and community came from, because I volunteered at a lot of community gardens in New York and Newark and other places in New Jersey. And so just being able to talk to people about the power of plants and making things a community, being able to sell product helped me sustain that ability to meet people where they were. So like my business was a passion project first, and then it started, having to shift into that, production, and then like P&L, and then all this other stuff I had to learn along the way. So that's my kind of how I started.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for that. I actually got a more in-depth understanding of you as well
Mm,
from that. But we're going to jump into this conversation. Both of you mentioned a lot around health, and especially around Black women. Womb health is important. So I'm also
mm,
a published author. I wrote my book. It's called Hero: Memoirs of Infertility. So it talked about my experience with IVF with my wife. So I understand fibroids. We had a loss at 18 5 weeks because of a very large fibroid that kept growing during
mm.
one of her first pregnancies. So I totally get with that. And most people don't really understand that 1 in 4 Black women struggle with fertility, over about 56%. Right. So it's a challenge that we do have, but I can go on and on for hours about how it always goes all the way back to slavery and the trauma of the womb and all that stuff. Is a whole nother conversation that we can definitely have around this. But I know that work is really important because a lot of individuals they suffer in silence, right,
Oh yeah.
around that work. So yeah, so that just makes a lot of sense for me. I understand that. So you said the business jam, going back to you around that, you said you started this passion project really because of your experience within your family. Do you find that to be a common thing for Black women who started businesses, especially around 2020 when we all started?
I do. I do think that, especially Black women, it's like part of our archetype to make something out of what we have,
Mm-hmm.
and to use our resources and expand upon them almost like magically, because it really is sometimes magically. And, I mentioned to you both earlier that my brand is in honor of my late grandmother. And, grandmother wisdom is like making something out of nothing and being able to take one ingredient and flip it all these different ways. And I think for Black women in Black families, that's something we've had to do,
Yeah.
whether it generated income or not. It was part of our survival. So if you didn't have health insurance, but you know a really good, tonic or a hot toddy, or something you can whip together in the kitchen and then like give to your neighbors or give to your cousins, and them, like that's how we've built, maybe not necessarily entrepreneurship first, but it started with just word of mouth and like storytelling of, oh, I know so and so who can make a really mean remedy, or I know so and so who is a gardener. So it is kind of within, and I hope I'm answering this, but it is kind of within our abilities innately to start something out of need and use what we have. And once we build clientele, or participants or people come, that's pretty much how practices are built. That's how businesses are started. And a lot of Black and Indigenous cultures, that's kind of how tribal systems are set up. There was a few medicine women in community, or you go see this lady for this, or there's midwives. It's a very communal experience that eventually turns into something ongoing and trusting and routine, if that makes sense. So I do think it is I think it's ancestral, and I think it's very, especially in COVID, when a lot of us had to lean on each other or whatever we had, because we simply couldn't shop the same, or we couldn't do visits to certain places. That was definitely the time for us to channel that. So I think it is a common theme to start from places like that, if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. That makes, because that's where Black Girl Everything came from. Black Girl Everything was created solely because I had a lot of really cool friends, one of who's an author, and I was like, hey, you don't really talk about yourself. And I was just like, oh, I want to do something different. So I just started this business in January 2020. Then March came, and it's evolved into this whole movement of a collective of over 200 women that have engaged with business wise, not talking about the people who have come to the events over the years or my retreats over the years, but it's a brand that's for where everybody can find a space, right? And fit within it and connect and build community and also get access to the things that you need. So yeah, I agree. We do build everything out of necessity. And I think that's where even how I continue to pivot the business, I pivot the business based off the need of the people. It's not about what I think I want or what I want to create. It's really based off what is the need of the people that's around me. And I guarantee that definitely comes from my ancestors, and I hold on to that tightly. So yeah, I agree with you 1000% on that. So Rasheen, I know you mentioned you're going into this holistic journey, which I'm so excited for you to get into, right around the healing, and because healers are amazing, by the way. I
Yes,
love
they
my
are.
healers.
I love
So
it.
yeah, so talk to me a little bit about how, now that you have multiple businesses and your children, how do you see your leadership shifting as you move into this holistic field?
Good question. Like, now because my kids are I'm calling them kids, but they're grown. One is 19 and one is 24.
Okay.
And one had just moved out, and she, starting her own career, and the other one is going on her path or whatever. So I'm kind of, not that I'm an empty nester, but now I'm like, like I have a little bit of free time. But just I just became very interested because like Jade, wait, yeah,
Jade, Jam, either one is fine.
Jam was saying, I've had a lot of fibroid issues. I've had to get the hysterectomies. A ton of my friends have heart issues, high blood pressure, like
Yeah.
just different things. And I'm just like, this shouldn't be. We're not old. You know what I mean? Like this is supposed to be like the best time of our lives. Like a lot of my friends, their children are like around the same age or maybe a little younger, but like we're supposed to be, living our best lives and out here. And I just feel like I said, if you're on social media or anything, or not even on social media, just in right around your family and your communities, you're just seeing people really, I hate to say, just die. Like they're just,
Yeah.
like, people are literally dying or they're not healthy. And it just became a point where I was just like, something has to give, including myself. You know what I mean? I wasn't having the best eating habits, and you know, especially now that I didn't have to cook for somebody else, like I was just like eating out and, maybe doing that. And I was just like, and I wasn't feeling good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling good. Then my father passed away suddenly 2 years ago, and I became kind of depressed. And then I went to food, and not the good food. And just literally, I saw myself sinking kind of in depression. And I just wasn't feeling good. I was feeling tired. Had no energy. And then I saw people around me not striving, and then I was just like, all right, it's something is not. And then COVID didn't help, because people got lost and didn't know what they were doing. And so I was trying to like scratch myself out of it. And then I was just like, I started seeing things because a lot of people are now, with this whole administration and things are going on, like you need to kind of pivot and start, I don't know what's going to be happening, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you really have to start trying to grow your own foods and, just really becoming more, just doing your own thing and eating plant-based. Because for real, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what they're putting in these foods. And a lot of things are happening because people are not eating the correct things. So I'm saying all that to say I came across this to do the program, and I just got so, like, this is the first time I felt like the party rental business is great and it was cool, but like I felt like I'm really gonna help people. Like I'm really gonna help
Mm-hmm.
people. And like I'm excited. Like I come home and I study, you know what I mean? I look forward to studying. Like I've learned something. I'm learning so many things every day. And I just love, to give back, and I love to tell my family and friends. And if I could help just one person, you know what I mean? Because to me is like is the best, because it's not about money. You know what I mean? Is about really helping people. If money comes, great, but that's not what I'm in it for. Is like if I could help somebody, if I could help my friends, if I could help my family, just eat a little better, and not to like, I don't want to pressure anybody, like, but if you could just do one thing a day, like one thing a day, like start drinking more water,
Water.
start getting 5 minutes more rest, start, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like little simple things, like, so that's going to be like my approach to things. I don't want to, because a lot of people out there, like they mean well, but they start being very scientific about it, and you kind of get lost. And I'm not about that. So I don't even know if I really answered the question. I'm sorry.
Well, what I heard from your response was that
But
your leadership has shifted as you have moved from taking care of people and being community based, which is
right,
all amazing. I
right.
love your response. Thank you
Thank
so much. It was amazing.
you.
So, Jam, so now that you are really focused on moving around across the country doing this holistic work, right? And also fostering animals, right? What does success look like for you now as you are homing in, through your grandmother, right? Through that lens, as well as yourself. How is that blending for you, family and business? And just talk a little bit about you and what's successful about you.
Okay. So I think it's kind of two parts to that answer. And I say like the success, I, I know that when people think of business, there's always this idea of material success, which I do strive for too. I'm not gonna lie. We love to see a nice, reflection of our hard work
Yeah.
financially, of course. But I think for me, success has showed up in many ways since I've started, and um, the fact that I have been able to, like, through my brand, be able to be a part of opportunities and sit at different tables that I I would be a part of even without like a single business card in my pocket, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
success has been like, I am so grateful that I've got to work for and with organizations that I love their work, doing community projects that are meaningful to me. Like I've been able to do it through my brand.
Yeah.
Um, and these are spaces and activities and community things that I already love outside of being an entrepreneur. So being able to pull up with the brand, with the logo, like with my own booth, it's to me that's success, is that I'm a part of the fabric and tangibly, right? And um, I'm in a weird space, full disclosure, where I've done the 9 to 5. I am a worker bee. I get that from my mom and her mom, which is Yvonne, and her mom and her mom. And Black women, just a lot of us, if not, that's not in our DNA. We're all kind of worker bees in our own
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
I think it's like the fact that I've given out so much of my emotional and creative and physical energy working different 9 to 5s that some were good experiences, some not so much. But I have been in this space of like, this was the side kind of project, side gig, side hustle. And then I'm in the weird space of, is it becoming the full thing now? Like, so it's between that fork in the road of like, am I finna jump off and this is like now the 9 to 5? Or like, I'm grateful that I'm growing and can do that if I really like activate that. But full disclosure, success means that when people see my products, they love them enough to come back and get more. Um, and that order helped me pay a bill. Like, I'm being honest, like, because I was between jobs for a while, and because I had that very, unstable couple chapters in my life, for real, and then trying to manage a business on top of like survival. The fact that like an order came in right in the nick of time, or I got paid out for this one workshop finally. Like the fact that my brand has allowed me to eat on days and like, take care of my animals, like that is a sign of success to me. Like it didn't get my mama's house yet, but it's allowed me to keep going. And because it's named after my grandmother, I know it's her, So success to me looks like a reflection of my hard work, literally paying off, in ways that allow me to still function and keep doing it, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's an excellent response. I totally dig everything that you said around that, right? Because like, people look at me, they're like, you're so successful. I'm like, yeah, I'm great. I'm able to pay my mortgage every month. Like, that's it. I'm able to provide a home for my children. That's great. I'm able to travel a little bit more. That's all amazing, right? But it's like for some people, like this hard work to have that little bit of success, right? It's like the grind is real. The grind is real. But one of the things I found, I'm picking from what you said a lot about being in rooms. So the work that I've done with Black Girl Everything and the connections that I've made and people seeing me out in the community and being in the community, I do a lot of early childhood work. I run a school in Mount Vernon as well. Doing that work, it has aligned me so well to be in specific rooms to the point where people are saying, yo, I've been hearing your name all week. And I'm just like, really? And they're like, yeah, so we got to talk. People say, I got to talk to you. I got to meet with you. So it's like, it's so important about how we lead our lives and how we're showing up in spaces, because those conversations are going to give us access to what we really need, right? In this next chapter. So that hit home for me, because it's like, now I'm showing up in other spaces, especially with my nonprofit. It's like people is like, hey, go for this one, go for this money, go for that money. I need you to be in this group because you're going to be able to get some money at the end of it. And I'm just like, all right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
It's all about connection. Connection is, and just having these conversations with people. Like now I'm having this conversation with both of you and I'm finding out more about your lives. Now I got y'all in my back pocket, right? And that means I'm also in your back pocket, because sometimes you could turn back to me like, yo, Dr. Glow, hey, what about this? What about that? Let's get this going, right? It's so amazing. It's so amazing. So Rasheen, I want to talk to you a little bit more about peace and boundaries, right? So I have a couple of adults in my house, right? I have a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old. And then we have a lovely 6-year-old and a 20-month-old granddaughter, all in my household. So boundaries,
God bless.
especially because 3 out of the 4 are girls. So it's like, they're tough and tough and tough. So how do you maintain your peace and boundaries to be able to operate, the full-time and your business?
Woo. Yeah, that was a loaded question, but it's interesting. I mean, I when I bought this house, I bought the 2-family house because actually my mom lives upstairs. That was the purpose. My mom was up in age and she had her own house. She didn't want to do it anymore. She was on her own. She actually lived with my sister, and we were just like, hey, it makes sense. Let's get a 2-family house. You live upstairs or whatever. So my mom lives upstairs. Downstairs is me and my children, but actually my 24-year-old, she moved out. So what I did for my piece is when she left, I made her room I just like, I'm still doing it, but I'm actually the room I'm in now, I made it into my sanctuary. Because I work home 2 days out of the week on my full-time job, and I don't have any space here. Everybody has a space with me. Like everybody just like you go in every room, everybody's somewhere else but me. So I was like, so this was my sanctuary to actually make a space. And I think that's important, especially as Black women, because we just carry so much. We do so much for everybody. We're making everything happen. We're doing the things every day. And it's like, you really need to have a space in your home to come home and kind of decompress. You know what I mean? Even if it's just, even if some people are not fortunate enough to have it, but even if you like get up earlier, like 10 minutes earlier before everybody gets up and, just have that moment to you to just have some type of peace, do some type of, I've been heavy into journaling recently, just jotting down random things. It doesn't even have to make sense, just, breath work. Trying to just be more, just be intentional about me. Because, for so long, we all about our kids and our job and our families and our parents. And, and be like, wait a minute, we didn't take care of yourself. So anyway, yeah, my piece is this room that I'm putting together. Um, and I love coming to it every day. I'm ecstatic. And just having boundaries also, having boundaries with parents, with friends, sometimes because sometimes like I'm like home, not right now. I'm trying to study to get my certification. And sometimes, friends like, oh, I want to go here, I want to go here. Sometimes you can be like, no, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, so my piece right now is just working on myself. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah, I love this. This is part of my sanctuary. This I'm up in my attic, so this is like my half of the attic, and I love it. Right, so if I ever want to hide, I come and hide up here, and then like people can't find me.
Right.
Or I like also hiding in my backyard too. My backyard is another place I love to hide.
I do love my backyard too.
Yeah, just don't talk to me. I'm just outside. They're like, what are you doing? I'm just looking at the stars. Mind my business.
All right, mind my business.
Definitely, 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 definitely. So, Jam, so sometimes Black women, we have you mentioned about all the work and we're constantly moving, right? We're constantly being a busy bee, right? So talk to me about like, I don't want to use the word balance, but how individuals can you create harmony around both worlds of doing all the things we want, but also making sure, like Rasheen said, taking time for self.
So I think like I do a lot of events, and because I've done so many of them, I have been able to exercise my own boundary setting within like the social sphere, because when you are the face of your brand, you get kind of worn out really fast, especially when you're in all these people-centered activities, which I do enjoy, but after a while I'm very much like I'm worn out. Like, so I think if we were to use the word balance, I've learned to start saying yes more to events that, like I said, I would go to without tabling.
Yeah.
So be it like a retreat style event, be it like a concert or a show. I am like, I know if I have 2 or 3 events a month, that's my social hour. That's my time outside.
Hmm.
And I try to like weigh that. I try to weigh that with other important things in my life, because if you do have a busy social life or a busy family life, we tend to stretch ourselves very thin. And if I know that I've applied to these markets in this season, okay, I got to let people know this is a heavy market season for me. You're going to see a little less of me during this time. Or pull up. Like, if you really want to come see me and spend time, come to the thing I'm going to be at.
Yeah.
Or like, I have learned to, like, because I'm in these spaces that are fun and there's music and things that I enjoy, I'm not necessarily going to hang. I'm there to, conduct and be profesh, But I'm very much a people person. So I try to like wear both hats where I could still be myself and kiki a little bit, but also like I'm doing business. So I do try to, I've been able to say yes more to things that bring me joy. And yeah, I can kind of, network half and half. And having a social life around that or a relationship or whatever, it can be tricky sometimes, but I find that like, I do a lot of community based work too. So it's usually like large events and large events are cool, but I did tell myself I'm going to do them. Just, I'm going to say no to ones that probably aren't my speed. Like if I've done one and it was a great role and it was a great time, I'll be like, yeah, I'd love to do this again. If I went to one and it wasn't really my thing, I'm allowed to say, I think I'm going to sit out the next one. So just being able to know what's for me as a person, because if I still have to show up as me and get the rest and smile and prep the table and do the marketing, and I can't do it all the time for everything. So I'm better at picking at, let's do this one. It may be a bigger event, but I'll probably space out bigger events maybe once every season versus we got to do one every month. Like, no, I don't have the back for that. I don't have the neck, back, and shoulder. I don't have the blood pressure for that. So I don't anymore. And I think when I was fun and exciting and new, I was like, yeah, we got to do this and we got to do this. And I learned very fast, like, oh no, we got to slow down. So learning to listen to your body too, like, cause after a while you can feel it. You could feel it. And I never used to be nervous going to markets and pop-ups and stuff, but out of nowhere, my anxiety just through the roof. Through the roof. And that was my body saying, I'm tired. It's not that I don't want to be here, but I'd rather be resting. So I am trying to like learn, like when I am applying for things, not to overbook myself, or when I get an email saying, Jam, we'd love you to come, just really sitting with my calendar, taking a couple of days to respond and really seeing what life has for me during those times and see if it makes sense to do it,
Yeah. No, I don't. I totally did that. I totally did that. I used to be live a lot more often in complete transparency. And now I'm just like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like it was a lot. Like I had all this schedule and I had all these scheduled lives and I was just always talking. Now you guys are lucky if you get like a 3 minute motivation conversation from me in the morning. And I don't care if I don't do it 3 mornings in a row. That Thursday I did it. There you go, people. Because it's like it was exhausting, right? And my brain power is so limited that I can do a 3 minute conversation on like my breakfast, or I could talk about a word for 3 minutes. And people are getting the message from me. They're getting it from me still, right? Because I love to inspire folks, but that having to be committed to doing something every day, I was just like, yeah, I'm just not doing it. Like, I don't want to, right? It's not, how is it necessarily serving me to do so? And I think that some people, we get so overcommitted to what we said we were going to do, not realizing that you can actually just change your mind. And but, oh, I thought I was going to do that. No, I'm not. All right. See you guys. Catch you next time. And she said the same thing with people hitting you up when you know you want to study and be focused on what you want to do. And they're like, yo, you want to go to brunch? And you're like, no, I'm busy right now. I'd rather read. Thanks. Appreciate you all. But yeah, so I think that's definitely important. But I do agree that sisterhood and companionship and partnership is really essential. And having that harmony, being able, like you said, to balance out all the things and all the ways of, engaging with folks, because that's important. So, Rasheen, I heard you mention that you have a sister, right? I have a lot of them. I am the oldest of 15, right?
What?
I have massive siblings.
15.
15?
Yeah, my mom had 13. My dad had like two other. Okay.
Oof.
Yeah. So it's like 14 of them people, and they're all younger than me. So it's really interesting. I'm the oldest. Love them to death. But my sisters are my tribe. I love my sisters. My brothers, I love you guys too, but you're all very interesting. But my sisters, a whole different type of way. But talk to me about how sisterhood can support growth, Rasheen. How do you think being within sisterhood overall? Because we see it all over, like the in a lot of different ways, right? How people connect with women and other women. How do you think that supports growth?
if I could be completely transparent, I do have a sister. But I have to be honest, we're not really that close. But
Okay.
but I have a really good group of sisters that are my friends.
That's what I'm talking about. Them,
Um,
those are the real ones I'm talking about.
yeah, and those are like those are my sisters. Like
Yeah.
there's a total, like we have a little group chat, of course, but it's a total between, with including me, it's 7 of us. And some of them are from high school, some of them are from and I got a little older or college or whatever, but there's like a good 7 of us, and like I I don't know. I never know how people get along without sisterhood, because I can't imagine me not having my sisterhoods, from just like from everything, from like getting, going through a divorce, going through my father passing away, going through just, just life. Just to know you can call, and you have the ones that the one that you can call for this, and the one that you can call for
Hmm.
that. Or like I have one that we just talk strictly about business, and you
Yeah.
know, like I just have my tribe is just, I can't imagine not having them. They're just so special to me. And I love them to death. So they're not blood, and I have to be completely honest. My blood brothers and sisters, I was never really that close with, for various of different
Yeah.
reasons and situations that we don't have to go into. But my friends that I've had, since some of them since elementary, some of them, they're my like everything. I don't know what I would do without them. They hold me down, and I just pray that everybody has them, because unfortunately, like I see a lot of people, I see like things in algorithm when you're on social medias, and they're talking about friendships, and I see a lot of people under these posts saying they wish they had friendships, and I'm like, wow. And I was like, I can't imagine. Like
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine. And I feel very blessed to have like the friendships that I've had. They're very important to me, and I think that's really important in your life to have it.
Yeah. No, I agree. My friend group is like the bomb. And there's certain people who I've over the years who I've been really close with, but as I continue to evolve, I've evolved myself out of certain relationships. But I also realize I still love you, boo. But our relationship just has to be, we have to play the game of our relationship differently.
Oh,
Something
absolutely.
happens to you, I'm there. You need me, like really, really need me, I'm there. But on a day to day, you're not feeding my soul the way I need to be fed, right? But
Absolutely.
having those individuals that are like close to you, that friend group, that group chat, right? That group
Love it.
chat can be so powerful. And I find that I lean so heavily into them. Like I told you, I started a whole business because of somebody from my group chat. Like that's where
Right.
the whole business came from,
Right.
right? And it's like, and they helped me build this brand. They helped me get there. A lot of them, they started choosing their own things, and I was like, please, this is what you really want to do. Stop working with me and go do that. I love you still. Just show up at the retreat. We'll have a good time. That was
Right.
really about it. But I think that that definitely is important about having people around you who support where you're going and what you're doing. That is definitely cool. So Jam, you spoke a lot around rest, and I know rest equals resilience. So what are some of the lessons you've learned over the years with the essence of rest? I see it.
I have a notebook full of them. So what's the question? I'm sorry.
So what are the things that you can learn? What can you share with people who are going to watch this about the importance of rest?
um, I would say that like rest is more than just sleep. Because I am one of those people that have gotten the 8 hours and still woke up just as tired.
Yeah.
Um, Rest is also a mindset. It's a mindfulness rather. It's about yes, listening to your body, like I said earlier, and saying no when you have to. But rest is just like reminding yourself that everything takes time. And I
Yeah.
think I've struggled with that the most, which is why I felt like I got to do this and oh this isn't correct, like being up and you know until like 3 4 8 in the morning, like fixing things on my website, or I got to do this because there was just this global panic of, oh my God, the world's ending. Like, let me go ahead and like, just there's all this, the sense of urgency comes from external places.
Yeah.
It rarely has to do with what's going on in here. It's usually outside pressures, and just to find what those outside pressures are for you and learn to work with them, because urgency and rushing, they may not be the most healthy things to cope with, but they're alerting us. They're really telling us what we care the most about, and it usually boils down to feeling like I'm not doing good enough. So I gotta do something over here to show, or and this is me coming from such a humble, like when I told you both this earlier too, like I am not a social media person at all. And I'm happy to say that I'm okay with it. And I think when you are a brand owner, entrepreneur, and that's just the world we live in, everybody's online and you got to do your reels and your highlights and your this. I am not that person. I'm okay with not being that person. The goal is to get somebody to take over that job for me so I don't have to do it. Right. So for me, rest is like, if you need a break from social media, take the break from social media. It's gonna be okay. Your sales aren't gonna necessarily plummet because you didn't post that week, right? You're not gonna not get invited to a thing because rest is just remembering, like, you really are, and I had to learn this so much. You really are where you are meant to be. And that when we feel like we have to rush or overcompensate or blow something up to make it look good, we're doing ourselves a disservice, because we've now set a standard for ourselves that we're forever trying to reach. And that's where burnout comes from. That's where the feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not good enough, or I should be better at this, or oh, look at this thing so and so just did. Look at this big event they just threw and I'm nowhere there. Like, rest comes from being able to mindfully just be realistic with where you are and where you want to be, and making steps to do that without comparing yourself, without doing things that go against who you are. So, because for example, I've done it myself, I'm guilty, and I've had to learn very quick, certain spaces aren't for me, and that's okay. I'm also not everybody's cup of tea. I had to learn that too, and that's okay, because I think especially in the wellness community, there's this, I don't want to use the word assimilation, but there's this anticipation that you and your brand or how you conduct yourself has to be this very polished and clean um, kind of persona, and your products have to be this, and I'm okay with knowing that that's how people make their bread, and they everything is very much like sound bowls and like, and very zen. I'm a very rough around the edges kind of person, and the moment I pretend I'm not is where I find myself in spaces I don't want to be. And that if I didn't get approved for this market, it's probably for the best. Like, or if I didn't, get an invite to this one thing, it's probably for a reason, like, so not feeling like, to me, rest has had to come with like taking a real honest look at who I really am outside of this business, and how can I not do another job by making myself into somebody else. And when you are a business person, you do have to sort of, take on a different persona here and there, because you are being a professional, you are a go-to, and you are the answer book. But after a while, it's kind of like, that's not really me. And I can go into it in specifics another time. But for me, rest is like, okay, I'm not going to look like everybody else. So I'm going to stop doing the things that looks like I am. And rest is, again, maybe I don't have to apply to these types of events, or so, and, I think it's okay to also like listen to those, if you're feeling like you need to rush or do something, or I need to make a new product. And it's like, do you really need to make a new product? Or, like, it's just all these ways where you're going to have to tell yourself, this isn't me. And in that, in its own way, confronting that is a step closer to resting, because you're putting one task down that doesn't necessarily need you for that. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Makes sense. I totally. So rest, even like for me, is really about like, I'm intentional around my rest, right? So I'm intentional about my calendar. My calendar is full, I live a very full life. So like I put on there Netflix and chill day, like on my calendar. Don't ask me anything. It's booked out on this Sunday. What are you doing? Me and my couch all day long, right? Me and my couch, or me at the gym, or me doing what I'm going to do. And I take these moments even throughout my day. Like I schedule naps at work. Like I don't care. I have my own office. I can do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
How about it? And I tap it out. And it's like, no, guys, I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Like, really? Because I already know I'm anticipating that. I knew these couple days going to be rough. I know the next couple days going to be rough. So today's a light day. So I'm tapping out in my office for 2 hours, just to make sure that I'm giving my body and my mind what it needs so I can be able to create. Because if you're exhausted and burnt out, you can't create anyway.
Exactly. Because that's something, especially if you don't mind me interjecting.
No, go ahead.
Within wellness, if I'm having like, excuse my language, a shitty week, if I'm having like a crummy week and I don't feel like, I won't touch a single herb. I don't think anyone should. If you are a wellness practitioner or an herbalist or whatever, it's kind of a rule of thumb. If you don't feel good, whatever you make is not going to really be good. And so, especially when you're in wellness, and it's so important, especially for the handmade girlies like me and the small batch people like me. Like, we really do have to work within season. So if all the herbs that I'm working with and harvesting and processing during the season happens to also be during a season where I'm going through a depression or going through a breakup, like you really do have to like take that time so that you can come back just a little better, if not stronger, a little better. And if that means that month business is a little dry because you need to take care of yourself, let it be dry. Because what's the point of like, working through that and then you can't stand by what you made because you didn't make it with the best heart. You didn't make it with the best mindset or intention. So yeah, for me, it's just like resting is, especially for Black women, is equivalent to not making more work for ourselves later. That's like,
I agree. No, I wholly agree. It's like somebody who cooked and you that was mad when it was cooking. You taste it in every bite. You're like, oh, they had an attitude.
No love.
This chicken is dry.
The chicken was dry.
No love into it.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell by the love. You can tell by the love. So, Rasheen, so we're talking about legacy, right? So, what legacy do you want to leave, especially as you are transitioning into this new chapter of as a holistic coach, right? This new exciting space. What legacy do you want to leave? So, when you're gone, and people mention your name, what do you want them to say?
Wow, that's a big question. I just want that's a good one. Overall, I just want to be known as I really think I like, we're going back kind of to the friend thing, like not to just be saying, but I really feel like I'm a good friend. And because I feel like not only I'm just a good person, you know what I mean? I always want to see people win. Like, I'm just very intentional about my friendships and my family. And I just feel like I'm just a good person. So I'm saying that to say, like, I just want my legacy, not necessarily, I know when people say legacy, you automatically might think of money and what you want to leave. But of course, money's great, but that's not what I want people to remember me by, obviously. Like, I want people to remember me by being a good person, being a good parent, being a good mom. I want my kids to kind of take on what I'm trying to do now with this holistic thing. Because everybody's not like Jam said, like, everybody's not going to be like you, and you have to be okay with that. You know what I mean? So everybody, like, holistic, especially, Jam, like, everybody's not for this, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to prepare myself for that too, because even some friends, like you mentioned, Dr. Glow, like, some friends, I'm preparing myself to kind of lose some friends. You know what I mean? Like, not my sisterhood, but like some people around me, because everybody's not for it. Like, I'm already getting it. Like, oh, you want to be a holistic coach? Oh, you're not going to eat meat anymore? Or you, like, I'm already getting all the things. So, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But I have to be fine with that. But I know once it's all said and done, I know that I'm going to be left as looking at, like, she tried, she wanted to do better, she wanted to help her community, she wanted to just strive to do better. And I hope that that's kind of what I'm left with, like, for people to know about me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I love all of that. Jam, same question. What do you want people to say about you?
Um, that yeah, like I kind of similar. I want to be one of the, I want to be the people I know existed when maybe my grandmother or her mother or her grandmother was alive, where there were queer or gender nonconforming people or trans people that met up and were safe spaces to each other and helped heal each other with their presence and their
Mm,
laughter and their resources and their food and their dance and their
mm,
music. And I want to be one of the people that makes those people proud, and I want to be like, you know, that for the future generation to come. Like I want, it's very important to me, um, especially everything going on with this administration, that people within community, or as I say, family, people who are LGBTQ plus, to have safe spaces amongst each other to get gender affirming care, even if it's through community. Um, I want to be one of those people who just made sure that through a product or a class or through an exchange, through mutual aid, um, that I was able to bring the love that my grandmother had. My grandmother was actually the first person that I came out to. So
mm.
it's like I want to carry just that special connection with me. And I want for people to just know they've always had a safe space with me. Just like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then um, that she did that and that she did it well,
hmm
and she gave everything she had to it, and you know that there's another generation of people that I love in spaces I feel like I belong to be like yes, um, and you know pretty much just celebrate that amongst each other, I guess.
that is perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So that's going to wrap up our conversation for this evening. I want to thank you both for joining me for this great conversation. And hopefully, I know that people want to take some real gems from what you all shared here this evening. So, last thing what you do is real quick tell people how they can find you on your social media that you might not really be on that much. But if they're looking to connect with you moving forward, Rasheen, how can people connect with you?
So I have it's Rodgers Events and Decor. That's my party rental business. My personal Instagram is the real Sheeny. My nickname is Sheeny. Um, yeah, and that's where you can reach me. I'm still, and if you guys wanna, I'm gonna put up a post of, because I still haven't come up with a name with my new holistic business yet. So I'm trying to put a few names together, and I'll probably put a poll together to ask a few people. So please help me, trying to figure out a name.
Perfect.
But
I love it. I love it. I love it.
thank you
Thank you
for
so much.
tonight. It was really good. I appreciate it.
No problem. Jam, how can people find you on social media that you're not active on?
You know, I'm around. So I'm at the dot eve dot at or whatever. Yeah, an IG, right? So the Eve on Instagram. I have go to my website, theyvon.com. It has a WhatsApp chat if you just want to say hey and just talk really quick about herbs. I have my support at theyvon.com for any like product related or business
Mhm.
inquiries. I also have a new form on my website. Like, if you are a cat person, which you clearly can see I am, and need help rehoming a cat, or you're looking for a cat, I'm cat connected. So there is a form there
I love
that I could get you to be a part of. So definitely, the website is the best place to reach me for sure.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So if people know I'm Dr. Glow, you can find me at Black Girl Everything across all platforms, or the Daisy Dream Project, which is my nonprofit, across all platforms, or actually just Google Dr. Gloria Pulpit. All I come up. It is an amazing space. So again, thank you all for tuning in to this riveting conversation. Look forward to our next conversations coming up in December. If you're looking to be a panelist during one of these conversations, please visit my website or click the link in my link tree anywhere in the world, and you can actually get access to be one of our speakers. We're looking for more people, and also for curating events in the Black Girl Everything space. We're looking for individuals for that as well. Doesn't matter what you want to do. You can tell me that you want to come in there to learn how to rehome cats. We will get somebody like Jam to come in and do a whole workshop on rehoming cats. I don't care. I'm open to anything in the space. So definitely just shoot me an email, slide in my DMs real quick, and we can get connected. But again, thank you all for tuning in, and good night.
Thank you.